That's right. It's time once again for the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast. Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, Soren Petro with you, talking about the first preseason game. Did Emmett Johnson move up to number 2 on the depth chart? Cyrus Allen, did he live up to the hype? Which quarterback do you have more confidence in? No sacks for the defense. Who else impressed and disappointed? We'll get into all that. Mansoor Delane, full participant in practice now. Josh Simmons missing a practice. Back injury for the left tackle. Trey Smith, his absence continues. When does that begin to concern us? And Moore and Benson swapping spots over on the right side of the offensive line, maybe having to play other spots on the offensive line. We're talking about it right now on the Red, Gold, and Bold.
You are listening to the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast, the most in-depth analysis of the Kansas City Chiefs on planet Earth, breaking down the Chiefs like no one else can. Red, Gold, and Bold is hosted by Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro. Jeff Chadiha is a senior columnist and on-air personality for the NFL Network and NFL.com. Sam McDowell is a columnist for the Kansas City Star. Soren Petro is the afternoon drive host of the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. The Red, Gold, and Bold podcast is proudly brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor, making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews, and every project comes with a written warranty. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lot. Now, here are the hosts of the Best Chiefs podcast, Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro.
Thank you very much, Curtis. We do appreciate it. Off and running here on the Red, Gold, and Bold, talking about the first preseason game. Chiefs find a way to lose. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to win one of these preseason games again. It just seems to be their modus operandi. Jeff, I heard you this morning on New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And one of the subjects you were discussing was the running back spot. Let's start right there. Emmett Johnson, was he the most impressive piece of this preseason game we saw on Saturday?
By far. And I don't know if anybody came close to what he did out there. And I know that he had a couple of runs that were waved off because of penalties. But if he had had those work out in his favor, it would have been an even bigger day. And so, he impressed me with his vision, with his cutback ability. He was very decisive as a runner. All the things that you didn't see last year, last couple of years. And so I know he's the biggest guy in the world, but to me, it just felt like he was somebody who really had to be a big part of what this team is going to be in the next couple of years. And I think he showed that he's got the ability to do it. I was super impressed by him.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned not the biggest guy. Can you take him in the gym? Can you get some work on him? I mean, he's definitely a runner. He's got the instincts, the balance. I like all those things, but it just struck me. I just kind of giggled when I saw him and Kenneth Walker talking the difference between the time that's been spent in the gym between those two. Walker's older and Johnson's got time to add weight, but 200 looks generous to me by that estimation. I'd like to see him a little bit bigger if he's going to take an NFL running back pounding over the course of a full season.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely, I know what you're talking about. I saw the photo and it looked like Kenneth Walker had his arms inflated. Something was going on there. Somebody had put, heroin addicts tied his, things around his arms to make his veins bulge out or something. But, yeah, I mean, he can get bigger. But, again, I didn't think I was as concerned about the size when I watched him run or when he was next to Kenneth Walker. I was just more impressed by just his feel, and the stuff they ran with him looked really encouraging. Now, what I don't know is when Kenneth Walker's on the field and they're running some of the stuff they ran with Emmett Johnson, if it's going to look the same, because they did a lot of under center stuff, but that's where Kenneth Walker makes his noise, and it felt like Emmett Johnson was comfortable all over the place.
Yeah. What was your takeaway? Emmett Johnson, is he the number 2 back for sure?
I don't think it's for sure. I mean, I don't think you make a full determination after one game. And Brashard
come on. The title is Let's Overreact to the first game.
Red, Gold, and Bold, Sam.
Well, Brashard Smith has been operating as the number 2 during camp. Now, I was out there yesterday. Today's the first day I've missed of camp, but Saw some fights elsewhere today.
Yeah, because you had to go ref a fight at City Hall.
But yesterday Brashard Smith I thought it was more even with him and Emmett Johnson operating. So I do think that they've rewarded him for the first game. Jeff talked plenty about the player. I want to point out the fact that I thought not just the player popped, I thought the scheme popped to me as well. And in favor of this overreaction, I'm going to point out the Chiefs ran the ball under center 16 times, and they ran out of shotgun 7 times. That cuts out the quarterback scramble. So it's just your handoffs to your running backs 16 times under center, 7 on shotgun. That's 70% under center. Last year, they were 44% under center on their runs. And it fits with what they've been doing in training camp, too. And I feel like these are tiny clues, but the Chiefs either want us to really, really think they're going to change their scheme, or they actually are changing their scheme. And like I said, it's all the tiniest of clues. A preseason game where your head coach has said in advance it's going to be vanilla, doesn't even use a starting running back. Training camp is the same way. They get to do their own stuff on walkthroughs indoors without the media, so they can implement whatever the hell they want. But the stuff that's been publicly available to us sure looks like they actually are going to make a change.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know that Johnson's the number 2 running back right now, but I think he's angling towards it, right? I think it's looking that way. I mean, I like the skill set. I like the way he caught the ball. I do think the touchdown. I saw somebody mentioned that the holding call on the touchdown, they thought, yeah, here's Dustin. So the whole call on the TD was baloney. I recorded it from the opposite end zone. The flag doesn't come out until after they're celebrating. I thought it was cheap. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Hey,
actually spelled baloney like the meat, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, is that not how? Me being spelling challenged, is that incorrect? Is that not how you?
I just think usually when it's like in marking, it's like the
baloney.
Okay. Well, hey,
but I like it. I don't mind it.
I like baloney. So, I'll go there. I may be one of the few, but I'll take it, Dustin. But yeah, I did think it was cheap, whether or not they're just trying to set a tone and, they'll relax it later. But I think if that happens in a regular season game, it's probably not called. But, it's preseason, and I don't think you're there to win the score. I think you're there to make the point. And I think they made the point that they can run better. And I'm with you, Sam. I mean, the under center, I was a little surprised. I thought they'd play possum a little bit more, if indeed that is what they're wanting to do, is run under center more. I didn't think we'd see as much as we did. I was really kind of surprised by that. But I think part of it is, you got to practice the run too. And so much of training camp is a passing camp that you need some reps running the football, and you might have to just do it in the preseason games.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, when you're running under center, you really have to get your timing down. It's much harder on linemen to get that timing down without working out. When you're running RPOs, like that's really a matter of, can you make sure the linemen aren't 1 yard down the field and they're kind of blind to what's happening. But when you're talking about running stuff under center, you're talking about the quarterback, the running back. Andy Reid spoke to that as far as Emmett Johnson, as far as his being able to hit, time things up and the angles he was taking. You have to work on that against real competition. If you just want to come throw that out in a regular season game without actually having done that against opponents, I think it's a lot harder of a thing to work out. So I was happy to see it. And really, when you're talking about that position, running back, I think it's a lot easier to evaluate a running back in the way Emmett Johnson played, because no matter who they're playing against, it's a matter of that feel, that decisiveness. And that translates to whoever's blocking in front of him.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Go ahead, Sam. You had
No, I was actually going to say something very similar to what Jeff said, which is like, regardless of what percentage you wind up with, they need to work on it. They need to even work on the effectiveness of their under center run, not just the amount that they run under center. So I don't know if it's necessarily an indication of the exact percentages that they're going to try and hit, but it is an indication that they think it's going to be valuable and that they think they need to improve in that area. I'll also comment, Soren, on your the sort of the depth chart of this. I don't think the second guy on the field is necessarily going to be like running back 2. Like Brashard Smith brings, I think, a very specific skill set. Like he catches the ball really well out of the backfield. And I think if he can make plays happen after the catch, that, if let's say Kenneth Walker was injured for a game, you still might see Brashard Smith as the number 2 back theoretically under Kenneth Walker, but still the number 2 back behind Emmett Johnson. If you need to have like a lead back that's going to carry the ball on first and second down, maybe Emmett Johnson's the guy who spells them. But if it's, the second guy on the field because it's a passing down on 3rd and 18, maybe Rashard Smith's the second guy on the field.
What would you like to see the carry distribution, Jeff? Like how many for Walker? If they're going to run the ball. How many for whoever's number 2? What do you think it's going to look like?
If they run the ball 30 times a game, which I think would be a fair number if they're going to really change up what they're doing
with the running backs, I assume
with the running backs. Yeah, if you're going to give 30 designated run plays, I would expect Walker to get 20 of them, and I would think you give the rest of the crew the other 10, however you want to divide that up. So I don't think there's going to be a ton of, guys like Rashard Smith or Emmett Johnson getting 10, 12 carry days unless they're really hammering the run. I would anticipate more of a 2/3 split.
I'm looking at it. Last year they carried the football total. Now this includes we're taking the quarterbacks out of this, right?
Yeah.
We're just talking about actual runs. So
design run plays. Yeah.
Yeah, 69. I gotta back out 70.
Does 69 have anything to do with what you're
6?
You're actually looking up the stats?
That's right. Settle down, potty mouth. They had 354.
Kenneth Walker's career high is 228, by the way.
Yeah, they had 354 runs, not by quarterbacks. So that even includes Remigio. If I back out the wideouts, I got to take out another.
That's about 20 runs a game, then, right? On average.
Yeah, I mean that's at 340 would be 20 a game, so it's 21 runs a game. So to your point, 30 would definitely be a massive commitment, right? I mean, and that's if I back out the wideouts here real quick, just there's another 11, 16, 17.
Let me
and
try.
One for Kelsey, 18. There is 336 running back runs from last year.
Let me try and sort out the scrambles, because there are quarterback design runs as well.
Right.
The Chiefs don't run a ton of quarterback design runs, but
I think at 336 we're pretty close to 20 design runs a game.
Yeah, so the Chiefs were at 372 non-scrambles last year. The lowest in the league was 330. The most in the league was the Bills had 497.
Yeah.
So 372, but that includes wide receiver runs, designed wide receiver runs.
Yep. Yeah. It's just design run plays.
Yeah, and you said the most for Kenneth Walker was 220?
228. Yeah.
228. Yeah, I don't think you want to go much more than
250.
I'm hearing this like 25, 30 carry stuff. I'm like, it's not 1975, and people didn't even do that. I mean, the record is what, 416 by Larry Johnson, I think, in a 16-game season. He averaged 26 carries. Because the whole 25, 30, or even the 2025 is excessive, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just not going to see it. So, go ahead.
I was going to say, and really, we talked about this in the morning show as well. Probably a better gauge of how much they're running it is how much Mahomes is throwing it. And so we were looking at his completions compared to Josh Allen the last couple of years. I would even look at Lamar Jackson. Those guys are around 300 completions now, and Mahomes has been 370, 380, 400, like most of the last 3-4 years.
I do think that they can get the tempo. If they get the tempo up, if they start having more big plays, there'll be more possessions, which will create more back and forth, creates more scoring opportunities, loosens up the offense. I think they were such a grind at 3 yards, grind, third down every time to move the chains, that it just ground the game down. The other team kind of played down into that. They had so few possessions last year. If there are some big hitters, be it offense, and if get it in the run game, or if the run game sets up some play action big hitters, and I think everything will go up. The tempo will go up. There'll be more plays, and we'll see. I think that they really, really were stuck in the mud for the last couple of years as an offense, and I'm optimistic that this will turn things around. Does Cyrus Allen turn things around, Sam? What did you see from the camp phenom that is Cyrus Allen, the living legend that is Cyrus Allen? What did you see in his 2 catches and 5 targets?
Yeah, I thought he had a pretty good day, not an incredible day. When I went back in and watched the film yesterday morning, I thought there were some plays that it seemed like, look, I'll put it this way. He's not having conversations with Travis Kelce on the sideline that last more than 30 seconds because Kelsey's just saying good job for 30 straight seconds. Like, there's some pretty consistent coaching about some things he needs to do. There was one play that just like really stuck out to me though, and that was the 2nd and 20 play. It was actually 2nd and goal from the 20 with Garrett Nussmeier in the game, where Cyrus Allen ran a 5-yard route where he stops a drag route over the middle of the field, sees he's not open, and just peeks over his shoulder and sees that the corner is open towards. So he just runs towards the end zone. Nussmeier underthrew him, and if Mahomes is in the game, it's a touchdown. And it's probably the play that everyone's talking about because it's a first quarter play, and it's theoretically in the past he could have been in the game in that moment. But I asked him about it after the game, and he just said, yeah, my specialty is I just like to see open grass and go try and occupy it. And I think he said, my pet peeve is not to be open. And I actually thought that play was just reminiscent of what I've heard the Chiefs talk about him since the summer. And, the quickness stands out at the line of scrimmage. I've talked about that since watching him at OTAs. But I think what really stuck out to the Chiefs is he seems to have an awareness and a feel that has been hard for them to teach some of their wide receivers. It's been hard for them to teach Jalen Royals a feel because in so many of their routes give wide receivers options to the point where I've wondered if it's too much so for
Agreed.
some of the young wide receivers. It seems to fit this guy. It obviously fits Travis Kelce. I think it fits Rashee Rice. That's why he kills zone and not as much man. But Cyrus Allen gets open against man, and if he can get a better feel against zone for spatial awareness and stuff like this, like that's why he's standing out. It's not Justin Ross high-pointing catches against, defensive backs in training camp. It's this feel that they think he can play right away.
Any read tries to create space, you need to find it and get it and get there, and then catch it when it gets there, and that's what he did. Jeff, what do you think of Cyrus Allen?
I liked what I saw. I mean, obviously the big catch he made, the leaping catch was impressive. And the play Sam's talking about is, great as far as savvy. But I'm still on the fence about how much he's going to produce this year. And I know it's super easy to get excited about players at this stage because we know more about the other guys who are at that position. And we've already made up our minds about what they are. And we're seeing some potential in him that has to be mined. But I just don't know. Do we really think he's going to take targets away from Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and Tyquan Thornton and Travis Kelce? I mean, I just don't see where he's going to move up high enough into that pecking order where he's going to making a huge difference every week for this team.
I hear you knocking when you say Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce. Xavier Worthy's got to get on the field for one. I think they'll have plays. I think he's different than Xavier Worthy. The Tyquan Thornton, why are we really? Tyquan Thornton has achieved a level of where
I don't understand that either. Why is Tyquan Thornton automatically the number 3 wide receiver?
Yeah.
Someone's got to take catches from him. Doesn't he have to go get some catches first?
Well, they signed him for a reason.
That's robbing an empty basket, man.
If there's a competition, I'm open for it. If Cyrus Allen can take that spot, God bless him. I just feel like Tyquan Thornton brings a dimension that the other 3 guys haven't brought, which he's a consistent deep threat.
Who catches more passes this year, Tyquan Thornton or Cyrus Allen?
That's a good question. I think they might be around the same place.
Well,
it goes back to the question of how much are they running the football? How much is there available to be spread around those guys?
Let me quiz Sam on
this. Not how many catches do they have, but just who catches more. I think Cyrus Allen catches more passes than Tyquan Thornton.
But what would that number be? Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, because I want to. Don't spoil my fun here.
Yeah.
I want to quiz Sam.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he heard you. I think he was, breaking up a fight at City Hall.
Yeah.
And I want to quiz him because I heard you. What do you think the number of catches Jeff said on 810 this morning was for Cyrus Allen this year?
What Jeff said, 40.
Half it. And subtract 5.
Yeah.
What?
15
for the year?
Yes.
That was going up. We did an exercise where how many catches would Rashee Rice have? How many would Xavier Worthy have? How many would Tyquan Thornton and Travis Kelce? So what would be left? And and what I was saying was if you compare that to Josh Allen had 307, I think, completions last year, or 310 or something like that. And that's if they're running this offense the way they want to run it, if there's more balance, Mahomes is going to land there in completions. And so what would be left it's not an indictment of him as a player. I just
Right.
think that you think about the offense they're going to run, the opportunities, the players involved, like what's realistic. 40 catches for him would mean that somebody else is really underperforming above him.
I don't know.
Not an indictment of the player, but let's be clear.
It's an
Certainly
indictment.
not an
of the
endorsement.
player.
Not an endorsement of the player.
Yeah. Tyquan Thornton had 19 catches last year, and he was probably their second best receiver.
No, he never played after that Giants game.
That's the whole
he hardly
point.
got on the field.
That's the whole point.
I do see where Jeff's coming from. Jeff thinks he's not going to get on the field, right? I think you and I are more of the opinion, he's going to play. And if he's
I think
play,
their wide
he's gonna be
receiver
open.
room stinks. I think they can find some snaps for a guy who gets open against man-to-man, considering none of their team can get open against man-to-man. I mean, Xavier Worthy had 40-some catches as a rookie. And, Jeff, you were calling it not a good rookie, not an impressive rookie season.
Yeah, but Mahomes had 380 completions?
It's also relative to the draft position. I mean, Xavier Worthy was a first round pick, and we're talking about Cyrus Allen as a fifth round.
Rashee Rice had 55 catches, and as a rookie,
that's also Sky Moore was ahead of him. The other guy who was dropping the balls, became
Kadarius Toney, a name we will not mention apparently.
Yeah. So if those things happen, I'm just saying that all things being considered, and that's what Stephen St. John was saying. It's like, okay, he's factoring in injuries that all these guys aren't going to play 17 games. I'll buy that. But if you say all these guys stay healthy and play up to what they should be able to play up to, then he probably is going to have limited numbers. Now, again, I'll totally agree with the argument that some of these other guys aren't going to do what we think they can do.
I would just say, I would offer that I think Rashee Rice looks like a 900 to 1,100 yard possession receiver for me. Xavier Worthy,
he hasn't looked like that in camp. I'll say
no,
that.
he hasn't. But if he that's what I think he is when he's healthy. And you're right, he has not looked like that yet. But that's what he will look. And if he doesn't get healthy, maybe those are where the touches come. I think the dysfunction is people keep wanting to push Xavier Worthy into living up to being a first round pick. Yeah. And I think I'm ready until he proves otherwise to say he's a gadget player. Like they used a really high pick on a DeAnthony Thomas. And because he's not running, he has yet in 2 years to really be effective on a full route tree. And so he seems to be a little drag guy here and, that kind of thing. Cyrus Allen to me looks like a guy who can run routes, or find the open space within the framework of what Andy Reid wants to do on down the field. And that's where I think he can be more valuable. I think it comes down to, does Xavier Worthy emerge? If Xavier Worthy emerges and is Rashee Rice healthy, to Steven's point about injuries, if Rashee Rice isn't healthy, that opens up a lot of opportunities there. But if Xavier Worthy emerges, Rashee Rice is healthy, then I do see the squeeze. I see where it's tougher for him to get catches. But I'm not counting on both of those things happening, and I could completely see neither one of them happening.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. If anybody I'm looking at in the pecking order that Allen can take snaps away from, it'd be Xavier Worthy. I would rather have, because Thornton can run deep, take the top off. And
but they didn't use Thornton last year. They didn't have good receivers last year.
They also moved on from the offensive coordinator that didn't use him.
Yeah.
I mean, so theoretically, they
he didn't get open. He didn't get open last year. Like he could run the go route. Like we're going to talk about Xavier Worthy not running the full route tree and complement it. I mean, Tyquan, what plays did he make that weren't the go route?
Please, this was not a comparison. This was not to say that.
Look
at Worthy does it because Tyquan does it all. They're both flawed.
Yeah, that's my point, though. Like Cyrus Allen, there's space for Cyrus Allen to play in this wide receiver room. If Cyrus Allen winds up with 15 catches, it will be a massive disappointment.
Yeah, I guess all I'm saying is he doesn't run as well. He's a great route runner, but he's not a deep guy. And so somebody's got to go. You can't have Kelsey, Rashee Rice, and Cyrus Allen all be in the middle of the field trying to get open. That's not going to. Somebody has to stretch the defense to open things up.
I would go so far as to say that I think if he only has 15 catches, that's a disappointment. Because you see more in him and we think the opportunity's there. I'll also say if he has 65 catches, there's a giant disappointment someplace else. I think what Jeff said is true. Let me put it this way. You're going to be disappointed somewhere with those wide receivers. I will tell you that. I don't think Tyquan Thornton's going to grow into a well-rounded player or even be this 22 catch, 600 yard, like 27 yards a catch. You're like, oh, he doesn't do anything but that, but he's great at it. And Rashee Rice is 1,200 yards on 80 catches, and Xavier Worthy becomes a 1,000-yard guy on 60 catches. Like, all those things aren't going to happen. Somebody's going to crap in their hat. I feel confident about that, but they need at least a couple of those guys to really step up and emerge.
And Rashee Rice emerged in his rookie year as the year went on. He didn't start off as being the go-to guy or even like a real weapon until the second half of that season. And so I could see that happening for Cyrus Allen. But it all depends on other guys disappointing. Yeah,
I think health and not being in trouble are the things that are key in that situation. All right, we'll take a break. We want to come back. We'll get into the quarterbacks. How did they look? The defensive linemen, the lack of sacks. It's all coming up after you hear from our friends at GAN. Your parking lot says a lot about your business. Cracks, potholes, faded striping, and damaged concrete can create safety concerns and leave the wrong impression with customers. GAN Asphalt and Concrete helps Kansas City businesses protect their properties with asphalt paving, seal coating, crack filling, parking lot striping, concrete work, and repairs. Their experienced crews deliver quality workmanship and dependable service on every project. Whether you need routine maintenance or a complete parking lot overhaul, GAN is ready to help you. Get started today with a free estimate at GANasphalt.com. GAN Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lots. Italian Delight was the first restaurant to bring true New York-style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. They sell whole pies or pizza by the slice, or enjoy their classic strombolis, calzones, and sausage rolls. Sandwich lovers, check out their lineup of hot and cold subs, the combo, the meatball, or the Philly cheesesteak, just to name a few. And don't forget the pasta. Their famous lasagna and classic chicken Alfredo always hit the spot. And if you're hungry for lunch, check out their daily lunch specials, starting at under $10. Italian Delight can even cater your next work function or party. Dine in, carry out, or delivery, it's Italian Delight. Located just 3 minutes east of Kansas Speedway at 8145 State Ave in KCK. Check out the menu and order online at ItalianDelightKS.com. Kansas City's own Italian Delight. All right, let's talk about the quarterbacks. Did either one of the quarterbacks pop for you? I guess we can throw in Oladokin as well, although I think that's kind of a known commodity. But, Jeff, any of the quarterbacks pop for you?
Not really. I mean, I was Nussmeier looked the best of everybody who was out there at that position. I would have loved to have seen him complete that throw that Jason Brownlee dropped. That'd have been a great highlight for him. I thought he put it on him. He had a great throw out of the end zone, and I don't know what Brownlee was doing. Hit him right in the stomach. But, he threw for 98 yards on 13 completions. So it was a lot of very basic stuff that he ran, but he certainly looked like a player. Put it this way, I was not as crazy about him when they drafted him, and you guys were. I'm much more leaning in your direction about.
Stop saying we were crazy about him.
Am I understating it? Am I overstating it?
Yes, I mean crazy about him.
You guys like the pick. I didn't like the pick. That's all.
I like the idea.
The idea of it.
It was like 10 picks from the last pick of the draft. I mean, we weren't going crazy about it.
I thought he was going to be the next Brock Purdy the way you guys were talking about it.
Jeff's got us calling for a quarterback battle or something. No, the pick made sense. We understand the financial side of not having to have a $3 or $4 or $5 million quarterback. You can get league minimum quarterback with a guy who's maybe got some upside to be a solid backup. That's where we were at.
Yeah, that's what he looked like, a solid backup. Now Fields, it's hard for me to take Fields seriously in preseason because I just know what he is. And so whatever he does out there, I'm not thinking the 4 or 5 months he's been around Kansas City is going to change what he brings to the offense. So if anybody looked like they were worthwhile on that field, it was Garrett Nussmeier.
I'll take that. I thought Nussmeier was the more impressive guy. What did you see there, Sam?
Yeah, but I think Nussmeier looks like, for a 7th-round rookie making his preseason debut, and he's been better than okay in camp. In which case, I think that he can be a future backup. That you're getting, like, you're safe. If your 7th-round pick can save you $3 million a year, that's a pretty good 7th-round pick. And I think he looks like he could develop into that. I actually thought Fields, for whatever you thought about Justin Fields in that preseason game, I'll tell you that's the best I've seen him play. He has not had a great camp. And so I actually thought when he was going to start that, he could get more than a quarter. And I thought this could look rough at times because he's looked rough at times. Now, he's played behind, and I will get to this on our list, a second-string offensive line that has not been great. either in camp. So it's not like he's had the best of circumstances.
Can you win a start with either one of them, Jeff?
A start?
Yes.
One?
Can you beat the Cardinals, Raiders, Dolphins, or Jets? Those are their 5 gimmies. Okay. Can you beat the Broncos, Chargers,
No.
Pats? No.
Not upper echelon teams. Yeah, it would have to be someone lower level because you're asking a lot of that supporting cast and to really step it up. And the receivers we just talked about, some of the options they have there. I just can't see, Justin Fields or Garrett Nussmeier elevating that group. It wouldn't be as bad as it was last year, but I think that they would definitely lose games if they had to play against the better teams.
Can't win against the big boy, Sam. You agree?
I agree. Yeah, I agree with exactly what Jeff said. You might be able to steal one against those teams that lack that we all will project in the top 5 of the draft, but I don't think you can beat a good team with either one of those guys.
So the key is Mahomes has got to pick his spots where to get hurt.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'll make sure.
Yeah. I just think about just the teams they're playing and the ability to pressure the quarterback. I couldn't imagine Justin Fields or Nussmeier holding up against the Rams or the Broncos or a team that could really get after you. That'd be a rough day.
All right, so let's turn to the defensive line. What did you think of the rookies, R. Mason Thomas and Peter Woods, Sam?
I thought R. Mason Thomas had one rep in particular. I know people point to that Hail Mary rep. I didn't put a lot of stock into the Hail Mary because the quarterback drops back like 15 yards on those. And so if you're a speed rusher, you should be getting pretty close to the quarterback for a Hail Mary. That third down play he had in the red zone is exactly what I was like, man, I have not seen the Chiefs do that in a long time, which is a quick pressure. And look what quick pressure does. It forces a mistake from a quarterback. Like Jaden Hicks should have intercepted that pass, which, by the way, we're half an hour into this podcast. We probably should have mentioned Hicks by now because the guy had a really good day. But
he played all day. He had the best chance. What did he play? Like 61% of the defensive snaps.
But my point is a quick pressure is what forces mistakes. And when you look at the Chiefs' turnover numbers, you need to correlate it with their lack of quick pressures. When you get quick pressures, then the turnover numbers can start to change. With Peter Woods, I didn't think he looked great, and they double teamed him a decent amount. But I'd also put this asterisk on it, which was 2 days before the game, he tweaked his ankle on a screen pass in camp where he got blindsided and fell down, and the Chiefs wanted to take him out. He insisted on staying in, so he did, but I think he is playing on a little bit of a bum ankle. But Soren, I said this on your show, I think today, I didn't think his 3 days before that either were quite as good as we had seen early on either.
Yeah. Okay.
Peter thing, but it's just realistic expectations. Rookies are going to go through ebbs and flows.
Yeah. Peter Woods, the air come out of the balloon, the ankle's a problem. What's your view of Peter Woods specifically, Jeff?
I don't want to judge him too harshly off this game, whether or not the injury was a factor. As Sam said, you're talking about a guy just getting used to NFL action, and that's going to take some time, especially at that position. No matter how talented you are, especially as an interior player, you're going to face some challenges just because the people you're going against are probably bigger and more athletic than you've ever seen. A player like R. Mason Thomas can stand out because he's a quicker player, although he wasn't really a factor in the run game. He's definitely looks like a guy who will be a situational pass rusher. But I don't think I'm leery of what I saw from Peter Woods. I'm probably more skeptical of all the hype. And I get it. Look, I think he's going to be a really good player. From what I'd seen in my times at camp and what people had been saying about him, watching him and the things he was doing against guys like Trey Smith, who's a Pro Bowl caliber player in this league, you see the potential there. But yeah, he's going to have moments where he's going to be handled by some people. It comes with the territory. And so, yeah, it wasn't as disappointing as some people may think.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree. I'm the one thing I don't want to hear, and Sam kind of touched on this today when we were talking during the radio show, is the ankle injury. They're having him push through it. They had Omar Norman Lott pushing through an injury, and he ended up getting hurt worse. So number one, that scares me. But number two, let him sit down and get healthy. I mean, you do have Kairos Tonga there. I don't think you want to run him into the ground. And so if the ankle is it, then get him healthy. And if it's not it, then stop talking about it. That's kind of where I'm at. Like I do think that this guy needs to stand up and be accounted for. And when does 0 sacks bother you, Sam?
Well, not after one preseason game, it doesn't.
Right. I didn't say you're bothered by it after one game. I asked you, when does it bother you?
Well, I mean, a defensive tackle. I mean, I was the guy who went under on the rookie sacks of this podcast because I looked at the history and saw that one guy has more than 3 sacks as a rookie. And what was it, like the last 15 years for this team? So, I mean, I'm not expecting him to come in and get 8 sacks a season. I'm expecting more like
not him. I'm talking 0 sacks for the team.
Group. Yeah.
Oh, the team. I thought we were talking about Peter Woods. I was like, man, didn't get a sack and didn't get a sack in preseason game 1. I mean, look, Chris Jones played 1 snap. How many Karlaftis play? Like 5. Yeah, I mean, you've got to have your starters out there, I think, before we can actually judge whether or not your pass rush has improved. You've got to have a quarterback fear a blitz. You got to be able to fake a blitz. You got to. The answer is nowhere in the regular season, I think, is it a big deal.
Concerned with Gelati leaving practice with a foot injury? I mean, he was already missing time. Now he's back out again. Jeff, should that concern you at some point? And we're seeing, listen, Felix Anudike-Uzomah has been getting a lot of reps in practice, and it didn't look like it's making much of a difference as far as what he did on the field. So it to me, what I saw from FAU says they need Ashton Gelati out there. And there's a reason why he's in front of him. And he left practice again today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long camp. I mean, they've been doing a lot of stuff. I don't know exactly what happened with his foot, but and I think overall, it seems like a lot of guys are starting to get banged up, right? I mean, not just Trey Smith, Josh Simmons we'll talk about. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think these things happen and you start getting back home and guys start getting a little more rest. Things become a little more, they're back in their own beds. I just think camp is a grind and guys start getting banged up.
Getting a little more rest. So you're saying the bright lights of St. Joe, maybe?
Yeah. They're not running the streets. Yeah, running the streets of St. Joe will be over.
Like, no more traipsing up and down the belt.
Yeah,
St. Joe, get back and get to sleep. That kind of thing.
No more Applebee's and Red Lobster. Get back to
if it's a chain restaurant.
Yeah,
it's in St. Joe.
That's right.
It's in all
mango margarita night's over.
It's in all small towns in America or little, I don't know what, little cities. I don't know where I would put how you classify.
I think St. Joe's like the 9th biggest city in the state.
Yeah. Well, what does that make it? Like 400th in the country?
In Missouri, yeah. Is that
it's the
higher
9th biggest city?
Would you have guessed higher or lower?
After St. Louis, KC, and what, Jefferson City, Columbia? Like what else is
City, Columbia,
5 other, Lee's Summit, Independence.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about Joplin and those places. South, Springfield.
Sam's dividing them up. He's not going with metropolitan areas.
Well, Sam's a political reporter part-time. Yeah, he knows the whole map.
I don't know if they still do, but at one point St. Joe had its own network affiliate. One of the, I don't remember which one it was, but at one point they had their own local news.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, they have TV stations. Oh yeah.
Do they? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I got friends up in St. Joe. I have nothing negative to say about St. Joe. There are many times I waited through town.
It's because you haven't been. It's because you haven't been to camp as much as I have.
That is true.
Come on to camp every day. You'll have plenty.
I do drive a daughter back and forth to Omaha, so I make my way through quite a bit. But it's usually
drive on through.
Yeah. That's how it is. All right. Anybody else impress you, Jeff, in this one that we should mention?
Sam said it. Jaden Hicks, I thought, was really all over the field.
I forgot that I put this question.
Yeah. Yeah, he was all over the field. I mean, and I don't know if it's going to change anything for him. It feels like there's a lot of people in front of him, but I like that he showed up and played. And in fact, I don't know if you noticed it. He made a play. I don't know if it was a pass deflection. Maybe it was a pass deflection, but he got to the sideline and someone slapped him, fist bumped him or something. You could tell he was like, I'm fighting for a job here. The look on his face was like, I'm going to prove I can play this year. So I liked his body language as well.
Does the quantity of snaps say that they're getting him ready, Sam, or does it say that they're showcasing him for a trade?
I actually wondered that too. I mean, look, he played with the first and second team because he's been playing with Xavier Wonkba the entire time in camp. Like they've been the twos in camp haven't really moved up much, haven't moved down at all. And I think, if you're integrating a UDFA, you want him probably playing with the guy he's played in camp like every rep. So I was not surprised he played with the 2s, even though Shamari Connor was out and therefore he had to play with the 1s. But he's still in the third quarter in the game, to where it did puzzle me as well. To you're like, why is Jaden Hicks still out there? But he was the best player on the field that the Chiefs had. And we talked about all the other guys with Cyrus Allen and Emmett Johnson. I realize that the offensive players draw the spotlight for good reason for an offense that struggled for 3 straight years, but Jaden Hicks was the best player on the field.
Who disappointed? Anyone else disappointed we need to mention, Jeff? Sam, go ahead.
The second team offensive line was terrible in the game. I mean, there were 4 holding calls on the second string offensive line alone. Ethan Driscoll had a really rough day. Caliendo got called for 1. I agreed with the earlier comment that you put up on the screen, Soren, that I thought Norzad's holding was really weak. I actually thought Norzad was the exception to this. Him and Esapole were okay. But their second string offensive line, I think, is going to be something that, finally being 9th in the waiver wire as opposed to 31st or 32nd, they're going to be looking for something.
Yeah, I will say Andrew Armstrong's blocking was impressive. Like,
good.
2 guys on his back.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Temecula coming through strong. KQ2, Oral Hershiser's brother, was the sports anchor in the 90s at KQ2 St. Joe. As they did definitely have their own network, and you think they still do, right, Sam? Right? So
I'm not even positive it's just one.
It's multiple. Okay.
Yeah, KQ2 is still around. I think there's more than one, but
all right. We'll see. Fire them out if anybody hasn't. Put them up in the chat room. Mansoor Delane, a full go of practice. Josh Simmons not at practice. We'll talk about that next after you hear from our friends. Our buddy Renee's in the chat room from Italian Delight. Italian Delight was the first restaurant to bring true New York-style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. They sell whole pies or pizza by the slice, or enjoy their classic strombolis, calzones, and sausage rolls. Sandwich lovers, check out their lineup of hot and cold subs, the combo, the meatball, or the Philly cheesesteak, just to name a few. And don't forget the pasta. Their famous lasagna and classic chicken Alfredo always hit the spot. And if you're hungry for lunch, check out their daily lunch specials, starting at under $10. Italian Delight can even cater your next work function or party. Dine in, carry out, or delivery, it's Italian Delight. Located just 3 minutes east of Kansas Speedway at 8145 State Ave in KCK. Check out the menu and order online at ItalianDelightKS.com. Kansas City's own Italian Delight. If your property needs asphalt or concrete work, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is ready to help you. From parking lots and drive lanes to sidewalks, curbs, patching, seal coating, crack filling, and repairs. Their experienced crews handle projects of all sizes throughout the entire Kansas City metro. Whether you're fixing problem areas or planning a larger paving project, Gann focuses on quality workmanship and dependable service from start to finish. No matter what shape your pavement is in today, they can help improve it. Request a free estimate and learn more at GannAsphalt.com. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lots. Mansoor Delane, full go at practice. That's kind of the timeline we were expecting. Sam, what does it mean for this team now that their 3 draft picks are all back on the field?
Yeah, I mean, he's plugged right back in with the starters, which tells you where their cornerback room is, I think, as much as where he is, because he's behind. I mean, let's call it like it is. Like, he is going to be fighting from behind. Now, when you miss as a rookie the first 3 weeks of camp, and you can talk about, jogging into the huddle and all this stuff, like, you need the reps, especially for a guy who we all touted after the draft was really good in press coverage. And we said that's why it was a good fit for Steve Spagnuolo's system. Well, he can't do press coverage, when he's got a bum shoulder and he's in a yellow no contact jersey. And I asked Spags about this last week, and he interrupted me before I even finished my question, which is, I said, how much catching up I think will he have to do? A lot. And it was you could tell. It was we need him out here if we're going to see what he's got to preparedness wise for week 1.
Jeff, do you have to throw him into more game action to try to speed the process of getting him ready now in the last couple of preseason games?
Oh, yeah. I would think he'd get as many reps as they could be comfortable with him getting, just because of what Sam just said. Yeah, I mean, he's a big part of what they want to do defensively. Spags' defense is very complex. They don't have a lot of other options. I mean, we've said this from the time they drafted the guy, that if he's not a player for them, this defense is going to have a lot of problems. And so, yeah, I think they do everything possible to get him ready. They do have, as you mentioned with the schedule, a break after the Broncos, the season opener, where they're not going to see the same level of competition, the same level of receivers. But, you can see just watching him in the social media clips, he's a physical guy. He likes to get his hands on people, but he seems to hold a lot and grab a lot. And it would not be surprising to see a lot of yellow flags flying in the first few weeks he's playing, just because of, not being on the field and wanting to be that physical of a player.
I agree.
Yeah. He's got to catch up, and he's got to get going fast. Although I did like a lot of, I like what I see out of Noel Williams. I like what I see out of Noel Williams more than I think Steve Spagnuolo does, which I think is unfortunate. But
I think Spags likes Noel Williams. Noel Williams is having a good camp, and
they didn't want to play him for the first half of last year.
Well, I think playing somebody in in year 1 and year 2 is different, but he did play in the last, 3, 4 games, 5 games, something like that.
Would you be stunned if he ended up being the better of the two corners?
I think Noel Williams is a good player. I thought that last year when he played in spells early on. I thought it when he played late in the season, and he's had a really good camp. I think Noel Williams has been one of the more impressive players in camp for him.
Would you be surprised?
Is the Jared Sneed playing?
He came back today.
Yeah, okay.
But he went from no contact to just no practice at all. So he's ready for week 9. I think.
I know. It's he's like the mummy. Just get him out of a tomb and just slowly put him back together again. You see the mummy? It's half his face.
If L'Jarius Sneed is the plan, if that's how it's all going to come together, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the plan, by the way. I want to add that to the equation as well.
But you asked me about about who's better, Williams or
well, I said if it would have shocked you if Noel Williams ended up being the better of the two.
It wouldn't shock me if he had more interceptions, because I think he's more of a ball hawk, and he probably is going to be when they're playing zone. He'll probably be more a guy who's got more feel for getting his hands on balls. So it wouldn't shock me if that happened.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Josh Simmons didn't practice. Back now. Where's the concern level on that, Sam?
Well, to me, whenever somebody gets injured, actually the first thing I look at is, okay, who's playing now? And I don't know that his injury is anything serious, but it really just highlights today's offensive line, just how thin they are at offensive line. And I actually think it's pretty indicative of where they are roster-wise in general as well. Mm-hmm. I think this team has a chance to win a lot of games this year. I don't think this team has a chance to overcome a lot of injuries this year. And 4 or 5 years ago, I think they had enough depth to do that. This year's team doesn't have enough depth to deal with that. And it's never more clear than when you're missing Trey Smith and Josh Simmons, and you've got the crew you've got rolling out today. And the Steve's strength of offensive line suddenly becomes and this is protecting for a quarterback coming off an ACL, and how are you going to revitalize a running game if your offensive line is blocking worse than it did a year ago? This group's got to be healthy this year.
They're small, too. I'm going to tell you, one of the principles of Bill Belichick is big guys beat little guys, right? And Xavier Worthy's small. Patrick Mahomes is undersized as a quarterback. Josh Simmons is small. I think part of the back issue may be that he's 30 pounds light. Most tackles are 315, 320. Forget about getting to 300. That's great that they want to get him to 300, but the average offensive tackle in the NFL is well over 300 pounds. And so if you're out there at 285, you just don't have the anchor. Listen, WWE wrestlers look pretty impressive a lot of times out there, but sumo wrestlers have weight for a reason, because the idea is to not move them. And that is a part of the game. You don't want to be a sumo wrestler, but you also don't want to be a WWE superstar with a six-pack. You need more anchor. And when you don't, then you have to do it all with pure muscle as opposed to just your weight. You lock on with a guy and you weigh 345 pounds. What's his name? Brown, that's won a Super Bowl with the Patriots and bounced all around, and or Orlando Brown. All those guys, they're out there for a reason. right? Like, are they as agile or is they quick as everything's? No, but they keep having jobs, because if you don't have a guy that can stay healthy and has these great feet, then having a big, massive guy that can't be moved is better than some guy who's just going to get knocked all over the place. And I think Simmons is a very powerful guy, but at some point he's got to commit to, I'm a tackle. They need to start. I don't care what they say to us in the media. They need to be talking about 320 to him, because like that's what you need to anchor down. And he's not going to lose all the quickness in the feet. So I do worry that the back injury is a product of he has to strength guys that other guys just their ass does the work for them. And he doesn't have that. And that's going to make it a challenge. I don't know. I'm big people. I like him. I'm a fan. We know that from when the draft comes around. I always like the biggest guy on the board. When is there a concern for Trey Smith not being there, Jeff?
I would say if he's not appearing in the third preseason game, I would start feeling like, where is this going to go? I know there'd be a couple more weeks before they play a real game, but I just feel like whenever you start with he's going to see a hip specialist with an injury, that's not a good sign. And I think, and whenever Andy Reid, I heard the clips of him talking about him, whatever, he's getting closer, he's doing what he's got to do, whatever he said. Unless he says it's not serious, we're not worried about it, then I worry about it, because I just feel like there's more smoke there than they want to admit. And again, we don't know how he got hurt. We don't know what the nature of it is, the severity of it. And so until there's more details, I'd rather be pessimistic about it, because I've just seen too many players come through this program with these kinds of injuries that just linger. And I would not be surprised if this lingered.
Yeah. Where's your when does it start to be something that this is an issue, Sam?
Yeah, I think if he's not ready for the third preseason game, that's when I'd get concerned. He's not going to play, I don't think, on Saturday. So if he's not ready for that third one, really, to be honest, if he's not back for practice after their second preseason game, because I asked Andy Reid about Trey Smith yesterday, and he said he's really close, and he said, but I don't think you'll see him this week. But he was doing a lot more on the sideline than kind of just walking back and forth like you see some of the guys that are a little bit away. I mean, he was doing box jumps yesterday
that's
out there, and I thought doing that with a hip, that seems like a guy who's – it's why I asked, because I thought maybe he'll be back this week, and it seems like it'll probably be next week.
Okay. But that is, I didn't know that about the box jump, so I think that's a positive sign for sure. I mean, it's like we kind of saw Mansoor Delane starting to use both arms. You're like, okay, we see that coming. This would seem to be, okay, we see it coming. They've got some bars they want to reach, and it looks like he's starting to reach those bars.
Yeah, but the Delane thing also, you go back, that was back in June, offseason training. Why is he not practicing? It's just shoulder, whatever. And then start training camp, yellow jersey on. Like about 6 weeks later. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
How about Jalen Moore, Khalil Benson swapping positions? Just getting ready for the season, or is there something to it? Is it like, okay, you had your shot at tackle, now let's get a look at the other guy, because we didn't like what we saw out of you, Jalen?
I think it looks like a real competition to me, and I think it also speaks to the point I made earlier about the lack of interior depth, to where they want the guy who loses that competition to be able to play guard if they need him to play guard, because they don't trust the guard options that they have. I wonder if this becomes later in this week and Khalil Benson rides out the entire week as right tackle, if they are using the lineup that's preparing to just plug and play Trey Smith back in when he gets back, and if Khalil Benson is back leading the competition at right tackle, and you just want to plug Trey Smith back in at right guard. But today, I mean, what can you even glean from today? You needed both of them playing tackle today. So, for whatever the competition might be, Jalen Moore is now on his third position with the ones, getting reps at three different positions with the ones. And he might, all in the last Saturday, he plays right tackle in a game. Monday, he plays right guard in practice with the ones. And Tuesday, he plays left tackle with the. He's getting every opportunity to win a job. But I don't know if he is the leader in the clubhouse at any of them.
I was also going to say, but with the depth situation, he might be one of your most valuable linemen now.
At all, he might be your sixth. I mean, forget swing tackle.
Yeah.
He's just your swing lineman.
That's
He
right.
might just be playing anywhere.
I would tend to think that Sam's point about you got two guys competing, you don't really have one. I'm worrying more about that being an apt description. I definitely don't think the depth. I definitely don't think they have an answer at guard. Right? I think that's true.
Backup guard. Yes.
Yeah, backup guard, right?
Yeah.
Like if their two starting guards are in there, they're fine. But if they have to go to somebody else, I mean, they've made it. They've told you what they think of Caliendo and Norzad at guard. They think a tackle needs to play there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's
100%.
that tells you exactly where they are on that one. So, you know, what do I think about it? I think that guard sucks. Right? Like
that's the takeaway. That's
I don't know.
Takeaway.
I don't know who offensive lineman number 5 is, but I can tell you who's not 6. Right? I know who's like I know 5 and 6. I don't know who's 5, but I know 5 and 6 are Benson and Jalen Moore, and then they don't have confidence anywhere. Right?
Well,
like that.
Esapole is the other tackle who's going to make the roster, but yes, on the interior. Like I said, I mean, I think it's a clear indicator that they don't trust their backup interior lineman.
Yeah. Where's Pole? The question, you know,
yeah, he's the fourth tackle. I mean,
he'll make the team, but I don't think they are showing a lot of confidence in wanting to get him out on the field.
He's not played with the ones, no. But I mean, first of all, let's remember Esapole did not even make the team last year.
Right.
Got cut out of camp, and I think that their fourth tackle this year is going to be better than their fourth tackle last year. I think if it wasn't for Khalil Benson, I think we might see Esapole trying to push Jalen Moore for that position. I think the Chiefs pretty evidently decided over the summer that Jalen Moore needed competition.
Yeah.
And that was going to come from whoever was their next best.
And I think Temecula, this is that Hunter Norzad and CJ Hansen cavalry ain't coming. I think, one of the issues, Sam, I think you've heard the same things that I think I like Norzad. When Norzad plays, he grades well. I don't think they like him that much, but I think they like him as a center more than a guard, and Creed Humphrey just is a rock. And so they need a guard more than they need another center. But Mike Caliendo's the odd one because Mike Caliendo's played a number of games for this team.
Big games too, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't seem and that may be as simple as if let's say Trey Smith's out and they run out the starting unit and Mike Caliendo's out there, then we'll know that this was just about getting reps and seeing what Benson is and all that. And all along they've thought Mike Caliendo was the third guard, right? Now I think that would be. I don't think they should view it that way, but that's what they would be telling us if that happened. I tend to think that they feel like they've got a problem at guard, especially. So, and you even said it today, Sam. You thought that is where they would be going on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I think last year I had said I think they'll pick up somebody, but it would have to be one of those vested vets. The last 2 years ago they did the Samaje Perine. He didn't have to go. He wasn't subjected to waivers. So it doesn't matter that you're late in the waiver. You pick up somebody. This year, I think they'll pick up somebody on waivers. Like, I guess I'd say one way or another, I think their initial 53 they released that we all tout will not be the 53 that go into the Broncos game in week 1 because I think they realize they've got to find a guard somewhere else.
And as you mentioned, they're 9th in the waiver claims this year, not 31st.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. I mean, it really does make a huge difference. I think I said this on your show today, Soren, too, but when you pick waiver wire, pick 31st or 32nd, even when you get a guy, you're like, well, why doesn't anyone else want this guy?
It's a good point. I agree. Listen, you can always support the Red, Gold, and Bold by supporting our great sponsors like Gann Asphalt and Concrete. They've been with us since almost day one for over 30 years. Gann Asphalt and Concrete has helped Kansas City businesses maintain safe, professional-looking properties. Whether you need asphalt paving, crack sealing, concrete repairs, or parking lot striping, Gann delivers quality work you can trust. I will remind you, the weather is not cold, but the temperatures are starting to drop, and so that seal coating is going to be wrapping up. You'll be wanting to get on the list. If you need it done, go right now, GannAsphalt.com. And, of course, our friends at Italian Delight, our buddy Renee was in there in the chat room. He's a fine owner of Italian Delight. He and his sister, great family-owned restaurant that brought New York-style, true New York-style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. Daily lunch special starting at under $10. Strombolis, calzones, sausages, hot and cold subs, lasagna, chicken Alfredo. It's all delightful. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. It's Italian Delight. 8145 State Ave. can find them online on ItalianDelightKS.com. For Jeff Chadiha, for Sam McDowell, I'm Soren Petro saying thank you very much for joining us here on the Red, Gold, and Bold.